it's Tommy here and welcome to a super interesting Liverpool news video. We have Jurgen Klopp finally responding to Jordan Henderson's controversial interview where Henderson basically called Jurgen Klopp a liar, saying that he was told that he wasn't good enough anymore at Liverpool and he had to leave because of that. But Jurgen Klopp responded in a very interesting press conference, so we will talk about it, analyze it, and also we will talk about Jurgen Klopp talking about Mo Salah potentially leaving in January, because journalists, even after just a week after the Saudi transfer window is closed, Jurgen Klopp keeps getting asked about Mo Salah and his potential departure, and Jurgen Klopp was not happy about that. And we will talk about the injuries that Liverpool have for the Wolves game, so we will preview that game in a little bit in this video as well. And the first thing that we need to talk about is Jordan Henderson, because Henderson was calling out Jurgen Klopp in his interview, and Jurgen Klopp responded by basically saying that he told Henderson he's not good enough anymore at Liverpool. He doesn't expect Henderson to start many games, but he still wanted to keep him. He just told Henderson ruthlessly, after 7.5 years of him being Liverpool captain and of him playing for Jurgen Klopp regularly, that he's not going to play regularly anymore and he's planning to bring midfielders in. And Henderson, of course, responded by leaving the club at the first time that he was really challenged for his starting 11 place. He could have stayed and fought for his place, but he went with the easy way out and collected a big bag of money in Saudi Arabia. But I will always back Jurgen Klopp over any player at Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp said, I cannot have a talk before a season and tell a player they will have 50 games this season 100%, because I don't know that. It all depends on performance, and if Hendo had performed he would have had maybe 50 games, absolutely possible. But we had our talks and I told Henderson I wanted him to stay, but we had to talk in these conversations about the possibility of not playing regularly. I told him we would bring in players and stuff like this. So basically, Henderson was told by Jurgen Klopp, you are not good enough anymore. You won't start automatically and you won't start regularly for Liverpool because we are bringing in midfielders. And Szoboszlai is an instant, massive upgrade on Jordan Henderson. I have nothing against Jordan Henderson, but he wasn't good enough for Liverpool for the past 18 months. And we should have maybe bought a replacement for Henderson even earlier than we did, but better late than never. Szoboszlai is a massive upgrade on Henderson. Szoboszlai completely transformed the way Liverpool's midfield functions, and you could see that Henderson, being 33 years old, I think it was the perfect time to sell him, and it's not Jurgen Klopp's fault. Henderson shouldn't be calling out Jurgen Klopp in his interview in public. He shouldn't spread misinformation that he was told that he has no future at Liverpool, because that's not the case. Henderson just would have needed to fight for his place, like any midfielder in the Liverpool midfield. And I like how ruthless Jurgen Klopp was in this summer transfer window. I think he wasn't ruthless enough last summer transfer window, so 1 year ago. It backfired massively. Liverpool had their worst season under Jurgen Klopp, or one of the worst seasons under Jurgen Klopp, maybe apart from his first season where we finished 8th, but that was understandable. Jurgen Klopp came in during the season, but this was probably the worst full season of Liverpool, of Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. And I think he learned his lesson, that he needs to be more ruthless. He got rid of a lot of dead food: Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, James Milner, Jordan Henderson. And Fabinho was the only player that I would have kept, but £40 million for Fabinho was just a brilliant deal that Liverpool just couldn't turn down, because Fabinho also had a really disappointing season. And I really love that Jurgen Klopp talked publicly about this and basically replied to Henderson, calling him out, saying that he never told Henderson that he wants him to leave. He never told Henderson he wants him sold. He wanted him to stay, but he just told Henderson honestly, you are not good enough to be an automatic starter anymore. We are making a midfield evolution, a midfield rebuild. And Henderson would have been just sitting on the bench. Henderson responded by choosing the easy way out and he left. And I think it's the best decision footballing wise, for all parties. It's actually best for Liverpool because we got 12 million for Henderson. We got his massive wages off the wage bill, and for Henderson to be sitting on the bench on big wages would have been a waste of money from a Liverpool point of view. And also Henderson probably would have kicked up a fuss during the season by him not playing regularly, and he would have probably ran to the media and cried and complained. So it would have definitely resulted in some dressing room unrest, because Henderson is still a very, very influential player, and I'm just happy to see the back of Henderson. He had a brilliant 10 years at Liverpool, more than 10 years. He leaves as a legend, but his last 18 months were massively disappointing. Performances were not good enough, and I can't fault Henderson's attitude and application, but the way that he spoke about Jurgen Klopp and about his exit in his recent interview just didn't sit right with me and with a lot of Liverpool fans. I saw the public opinion on Henderson, and it's not favorable. Let me say it like this. Jurgen Klopp said, Henderson is a fantastic player, I will love him forever, super guy, but he's not great when he's not playing. Let me say it like that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Jurgen Klopp basically calling out Henderson, that he would have caused unrest and he would have disrupted the harmony in the Liverpool dressing room because he's not playing. He would have been grumpy, he would have been sulking, he would have been probably, talking against the manager and his team selection in the dressing room with other players. Jurgen Klopp also continued, James Milner was like that when I arrived here, and Lucas Leiva was like this. You always thought they are great guys, but then the moment they see the lineup, they are not involved, they turn into Jekyll and Hyde. It's unbelievable. That's Henderson's problem, so you have to talk about that. He was my captain for 7.5 years, so I had to talk about that, because I don't want to wake up one morning and I need to lock horns with each other because he thought he would start and I tell him he isn't starting. Obviously for Henderson that meant, okay, Jurgen Klopp doesn't want me here. I don't understand it 100%, but we clarified that. But anyway, what he said is that if I would have told him, Hendo, stay here, you will be the main man in midfield, he would have stayed. That's the truth, but I couldn't say that. As much as I wanted him to stay, I couldn't say that. So that's why it was better that Henderson moved on. And I fully support Jurgen Klopp in this. Henderson is not good enough to be the main man at Liverpool, the main man in Liverpool's midfield. I think pretty much like 99 out of 100 Liverpool fans would admit Henderson at 33 years old, after the last 18 months that he had at Liverpool, he shouldn't be the main man. And I think literally almost nobody is crying now that Henderson is not playing in the Liverpool midfield. I haven't seen a Liverpool fan saying after one game of Liverpool this season that it's Henderson that we are missing from the midfield, because that's the harsh reality. Henderson was not good enough to start regularly in the Premier League, in the biggest games where you need to absolutely have the best team available on the pitch. Henderson wasn't in the strongest starting 11 of Liverpool. He wouldn't have been this season, especially with Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch. I mean, even Endo at 30 years old probably has more stamina, more work ethic than Henderson at 33. So I think Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp played this very, very well, and to basically usher Henderson out of the door and sell him to Saudi Arabia. And I absolutely love this about Jurgen Klopp, how honest and transparent he is in his press conferences. I'm always eagerly awaiting his press conferences. He's like my second dad, if you like. I always love watching him and listening to him. And Jurgen Klopp was asked, strangely, about is he worried that Salah is going to leave in the January transfer window. Jurgen Klopp was baffled and shocked and confused. He said, "Are you kidding me? You are kidding me, aren't you?" He was asking the journalist. He added, "A week after the Saudi window closed, you asked me about the January transfer window and about Salah potentially leaving." And then he laughed and said, "You can't wait until December to ask these questions? We will see what happens, but no, I'm not worried about Salah leaving at the moment. I didn't even think about it until you opened the wound again. I'm not worried. I mean, can the journalists that just give this a rest? Can they just leave Jurgen Klopp alone with the Salah questions? It's enough that the Liverpool fan base is worrying about Salah leaving. Don't make the manager worry about it every week. Don't ask Jurgen Klopp every week about it, because he can't do anything about it, and he has enough on his plate, he has enough on his mind to worry about, with the Wolves away, very, very tough fixture. We lost 3-0 there in the Premier League last season in a disgraceful performance. And Jurgen Klopp confirmed that Trent Alexander-Arnold is still injured, so he will not play against Wolves, so probably Joe Gomez will be right back, and thankfully Konate is back in training for the last 2 games. For the last 2 days Konate is back in training, so I expect Konate and Matip to start at the heart of the defense, and probably Robertson will start at left back, and Tsimikas will start on Thursday in the Europa League. Jurgen Klopp said that Trent is not available for Wolves. He didn't train with the team once, and it's not the worst hamstring injury, but they barely heal in 2 weeks. So probably Trent won't play in the Europa League on Thursday, and he will maybe be available and ready for the next Premier League game 1 week from now. Thiago is running, but that's it. He probably won't play against Wolves either. And what is a problem is that Jurgen Klopp, 24 hours before the Wolves game, still haven't met up with the South American players. So Alisson, Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz got back very, very late. Actually Thursday morning or Thursday during the night, their flight arrived back to Liverpool. And Virgil van Dijk is suspended as well for the Wolves game, and that poses a problem for Liverpool. If Konate is not fully fit, then who will play centre back? That's my biggest worry, but hopefully Konate will be playing. And I will call out TNT Sport, who used to be BT Sport, for again scheduling Liverpool a 12:30 lunchtime kickoff after the international break. Don't tell me that it's not deliberate, screwing Liverpool over on purpose, because literally in the last few years Liverpool played 12 times after international breaks at these lunchtime 12:30 kickoffs on a Saturday, and the second team in the Premier League is Tottenham and it's Tottenham and Chelsea with 6 games. So Liverpool have 12, twice the amount of games at lunchtime kickoffs on a Saturday after an international break that the second most team in the Premier League. Man City have like 5, Arsenal have 4. So it's absolutely disgraceful that Liverpool are selected so many times for these games, because it's literally the hardest to schedule in terms of recovery. And also we had the most South American players in the Premier League, I think, out of the top 6 sides. I mean, last season we had, in addition to Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez and Alisson, we had Fabinho and Firmino as well. So last season we had 5 South American players, and last season I think our record was 3 defeats and 3 draws in these lunchtime kickoffs and 0 wins from 6 games. That is literally the most shocking record. Of course, the seasons before that, when we had won a lot of games and collected 90 plus points, we have a much better record, but it's still an awfully difficult thing because jet lag after a 20-hour flight from South America to England, it's a brutal and grueling on the body and on the mind. And after James Pearce asked this, that Liverpool lost 3 and drawn 3 out of these 6 lunchtime kickoffs last season, Jurgen Klopp was really angry, and rightfully so. Are you serious with this question, he asked. What do you mean, what is the difference when you played 30 hours ago in Bolivia at a 3,600 meter altitude? What do you think is the reason? I don't understand. It is something about the time or the lack of recovery in between. It's not a problem if you have a normal week. We have always said that. The only problem is the lack of recovery time. We have 4 international breaks until March, and on 2 of them we have this 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday. If I say one word about it, again the whole world he's starting to moan again, Jurgen Klopp. But it's a joke. We have players in South America and that I haven't seen yet, and we play in 24 hours. It's a joke. We will never change that, but it doesn't change anything at all. They just don't give a damn, and we put it lightly, about that. So why should we talk about it? It's not because it's lunchtime, but it's because literally it's the first game of the weekend, and Liverpool have players playing on a Wednesday morning or Thursday morning, and literally they have to get on a 20-hour plane ride. I mean, have you been on a 20-hour plane ride? I mean, I haven't been on a 20-hour plane ride, but I've been on a 20-hour bus ride, and it's literally like the most tiring thing. It's absolutely horrendous, and it's not good for the physical state of the players. They can't properly recover, and they will probably not play, the South American players, except Alisson. Alisson thankfully didn't play any of the South American games, but still, on the body, it's really hard, this 20-hour plane ride, plus the jet lag, plus everything, different time zones. I mean, they are literally playing on the other side of the world, so it's really tough. Peter Crouch also said something very interesting about Mo Salah. He said it's absolutely incredible what he has achieved at Liverpool and continues to achieve. Obviously, with my Liverpool hat on, I want him to stay for as long as possible because he shows no signs of slowing down whatsoever. He got his head down and he performed against Aston Villa. He didn't look to me that he was upset or wanting to leave. There was an element of him that would have been not interested, but maybe asked for a conversation about Al Ittihad, but I think he looks more than happy where he is. And this Saudi Arabian league and the money involved, that's going to be something that is going to rumble on. I don't think it's something that's just going to go away. They have proven, the teams in the Saudi league, that if they want someone, sooner or later they get them. I think Salah will be totally dedicated to Liverpool's cause, but I think it might work for both parties really if Liverpool get a big fee for Salah next year. For Salah, it's the financial gain of playing in Saudi Arabia, plus he's a devout Muslim, so him going to Saudi Arabia would be good for the league, for the region, and he would be closer to home to Egypt as well. If you are a 31-year-old that has won everything and you have one last payday, we all know the real reason why people go there. That's not going to change. The amount of good players they are buying, that league will become competitive. Let's be honest, it's miles behind the level you would want to be as a young player. If I'm 21 or 22 and I've got the chance to go to Real Madrid or the Saudi League, of course you would choose Real Madrid, unless you are just motivated by the money. And I really like Peter Crouch's honesty about that as well. And Jurgen Klopp also said something very crucial. We cannot start loving a team when they have won a trophy, because love, that's the only way we can win something. I told the boys, this is not my 8th year at Liverpool. This is year 1 of this team, of this new Liverpool. We want to become a new team, not a replica of the previous one or the other one. I am fully in on year 1. And Jurgen Klopp basically is saying, let's open a new chapter. This is a new team, a new midfield, new attack, and we need to give them as much love as the previous teams who have achieved so many brilliant seasons. And I mean, I read recently about Liverpool's unbeaten runs, and we were 11 millimeters away in that Man City Liverpool game from going unbeaten in a league season and winning the league title ahead of Man City and going for 66 games unbeaten. We had a 44 game unbeaten streak. The Premier League record is 49 games held by Arsenal. But if that one goal, which was not given because of goal line technology, because of 1 centimeter, 11 millimeters of the ball touched the line by 11 millimeters in that Man City Liverpool game, if that had gone over the line, that game would have been probably either a Liverpool win or a draw. Liverpool would have won the league unbeaten, and also we would have been double winners because we won the Champions League in that season, plus Liverpool's unbeaten streak would have been on 66 games. It's absolutely crazy to me that we went for 66 games, we had 1 loss in that 66 games, And that was this Man City Liverpool game where Liverpool lost by that 11mm goal line technology goal, absolutely mind-blowing and crazy. And hopefully Liverpool will be able to go on this massive winning and massive unbeaten runs again. We are on 15 games unbeaten as it stands, and hopefully it will continue for many more games. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.